what woke you up. And this is for us to understand their journey, to understand their path, and for us to learn on how to wake up to actions, and at the same time, what are the costs of change. We know that for every change, there's a cost, there's a cost to be paid for everything. Some days ago, I think maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, we celebrated with Aja Mariam, even though we did not see food, we did not vex. Before that celebration comes in, so I think I'll be starting from you, right? So I'm starting from you, inshallah. So before that celebration comes in, a lot of things must have gone into it. So what was the first thing that you think
today, as mentioned, the conveyor of the program of today, okay, as Sharika mentioned, our doctor and mentor, Chief Dr. Ali, then I greet everyone else, all the Mashallah, all the sisters, I greet all our mothers entirely. There is no woman that is should be little in any way. So I greet everyone of us, I greet our sister from all the way from Illinois and everywhere. May Allah be with you as well. Then I also greet my co-panelists. Allow me to do this because I'm starting, so I have to observe the protocol as little as I can. I greet my co-panelists, our respected digital expert here from, sorry I forgot the name again, Dr. She, like the MC said, volunteer, may Allah be with you and enable you in all your affairs. I also greet my, should I say, my co-classmates on the African Club. I see many of our fellow students here. Most of them are, they are my seniors in the class. My senior sister in tutorial on the African Law, Mr. Miriam Silas, may Allah be with you and enable your affairs, inshallah. I want to accept what you said, otherwise I also want to do that reflect through. But otherwise we'll be passing it around. But let me just with the permission of Allah, go ahead. So the question is, what's actually should prompt change or awaken people's life, right? If I paraphrase correctly. Well, the changes that come to life in different individuals can be from different reasons. It could be from events, it could be situations, it could be things that actually changes one's perspective, mindset, and raises one from one level to another. I believe you have English completely right, or you have to switch. I don't know what's the. So are the things that actually change one's level of orientation, one's mindset, and most importantly, what I actually view it begins with what Islam itself regard as the essential of every action. Be it before you are awakening or after awakening. Be it before you change or after. There is something that actually must be there, which is the intention. The niyyah, the intention itself. But unfortunately, Muslims, we have reduced intention to a level of just the action of the heart alone. So we lost the intentionality of the intention. Which is very, very paramount. One of the catalysts, which I might come back to after, one of the catalysts I believe is for change. So when one experiences a shift from the level one is before to a different level of awareness, that I would say is an awakening, or it's a prompt for change. As for myself, although it was personally to say that, but as for myself, the question will be very difficult for me because there are levels of different changes in my life, and I believe that is how I should undergo it. If one just experience one change or one awakening in life, then probably it will, or at the end of the day, become obsolete in kind. It will get kind of old, or you might not be able to keep up with time. So there are different levels. One that I want to mention here is when I began my travel out of the country, which actually is through the permission of Maulana Africa law. So I was sent to study from the beginning, and after decided to send me, he was asked to nominate 4 people from his students to come and study journalism, Islamic media and journalism in South Africa, and that was it in like 20 years ago. So when I got there, I was the only one that issued that time. The other 3 guys they disappeared and go and do hosting. So we are thinking that but I still maintained instruction, go for the program. When I got there as a student, I was in the class and we asked questions, we answered. The director called me inside just to show the cup. I don't think that's in his world. I don't think you belong to this class. What do you think? What have you studied? I answered him. So, okay. Please, can we shift you to a different class? Look at the word I use. Shift. Shift you. What would that be? Can you speak in the mosque around, I was in Durban at that time, Durban, one of the provinces of Africa. In Durban, in the mosque that we are the one coordinating the speakers. But I came here to learn. Yes, our students, we need to send them around, but we see that you are qualified for that. With all you have mentioned now, you see, now, that would be my first time addressing an audience in a complete different culture entirely. A complete different setting entirely. I mean, I've spoken English than I did before I left. In secondary school, I've been speaking as a man, whatever. But this is a complete different setting that I have to become. I have to be focused and study their background, what is relevant to that setting, and how to address them. And I was given just a week to do that, to present the next Friday. That for me is a big awakening. There are several ones, but that was like, wow, okay. He sent me here to come and study. But now I have to do something bigger than that. And that was a change of perspective, a change of mindset, a change of growth that demands me to do some extra job at that moment. I think I should stop here, otherwise I'm going to do something.
So, I think the first thing when we look at the catalyst for change, according to him, is the first thing is the intention and having the growth mindset that you can actually do something. So I don't know if Bolaji wants to add to that as well, because as someone I know personally, you can say smiling, is a personal person, and life has transformed us, from one career aspect to another. So what is actually that one thing that give you that courage to say, let me start doing this?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think I personally know what Sheikh talked about, specifically around like intentionality, like does that intention like it matters a lot. Just like our brother shared here, we both studied at the University of Lagos. I studied, you were both in the faculty of engineering. I studied materials engineering, you studied systems engineering. And if you look at me today, what I do is, I can say it's like opposite sides of what I studied in uni. And I would say that intentionality even started from while I was in uni, because I just thought about it. We can't be boxed into a particular place. You can, if you set your mind to something, you can always do it, you can always achieve.
Having the intention, I think the next thing is now taking the action, the bold action. So to Samara now, I think it's a turn to take the action now.
So when I said the men should go first, you see what I mean? Look at the way she started. He started so well, and if I were the one, I wouldn't have beaten anybody. So the leader is always the leader. Okay, let me take it from where you want me to take it. I suppose this is the voice you want to listen to. You see, this is my journey. I looked at a very constant thing that has been moving with me from the beginning. Number one, I had my inner voice. Now, I don't know how I discovered that inner voice. I think it's as a result of pain. I was going through pain. Or let's say I was a child raised from pains. And these pains, I could not express it to anybody. So It actually made me so mature right from while I was young. I was always behaving like I was more than my age, you know. At some point, even when we're in Unilag, I tell myself, hey, Miriam, you're still young. Don't be dressing. Why are you doing like you're older than this? At some point, I'll be announcing my age just for you to beat it down so that, you know, there was this inner voice that was my personal training. It was always training me. And it was so glaring that it was there during my thick and thin, right from when I was young. Now, this voice is always there anytime I am sad or anytime there is time for to take another step. So it was so clear, there was no judgment and there was understanding. That was it. Now, my route actually changed. From Unilag, studied biology, education. I wanted medicine and surgery. Yes, I was very sound. Sciences, I was very sound. And it was so unfortunate that even the girls I taught during jam session got medicine and surgery I didn't get. And the girl looked at me and said, Miriam, are you sure you are the one? I said, I'm the one. Said, how come you're opposite me? See, you taught me in the all. I said, I don't know what it is, but that is the way it is. So it started coming from the failure was looking like a pointer to me, like, okay, this is not the route, this is the route. And I told myself, I said, I won't give up on medicine. This is my route. I told my father. My father said, Ma'am, you know what? Go and get another job form. Register for this University of Lagos, get another jam form. You keep writing the form anytime I pay for it. I said, no problem. So, year 2, I wrote jam. Year 3, I wrote jam. That's another long story. But then, what was the agent of change? I also noticed something while I was growing. I was able to mimic anything perfectly. I mean, I don't know how to put it. At some point, when they want to have discussion, they send me out. That is another point. Aside from the fact that I can mimic you, the way you're doing, I get your vibes, and before you know, I'll start doing that way. That was another one. Then the third point is that I was able to report stories as if I was there. It's a skill. It might be something you look. I don't know if you have any of it, but it might be something that you look like. It's not just to talk. No, it's not just to talk. I understood that time when my sisters are gisting or they are backbiting, they send me out. Because when I want to reproduce what they have said, they'll be shocked. I will reproduce it with their gesture. I say when she's saying, this is when she was doing her hands. If she sing, I will sing. And that was it. And then we say, Miriam, go out. And when they are talking, I look at this, Miriam is here, go out. And that was those little things I saw in me that I don't know, maybe they are innate abilities. Maybe I said, sir, I'm looking for a job. I said, any job, please, any job, just say any job. Especially federal government, I don't mind. She was just laughing. I was like, she just said, no problem, just doing what you're doing, and that was it. Now, you see, these talking skills started from the school. While I was in school, I noticed that for almost 20-something years, the only thing I was doing was speaking training. I thought I was going to school for certificate. No. That's every training started from speaking. From primary 3, where I couldn't talk to my teacher. I couldn't tell her I want to use the rest of my hips of my body as a primary 3 girl. I was so shy. And that thing began to progress to the point that I started addressing people. That was the only reason why I went to school. I think the question you should be asking yourself is, why are you in school? Not what the school wants to give you, no. Why are you actually there? That was the only summary I could give to myself. Now, going back to what changed the direction, coming from the mimicking side of it, I picked so many people, so many great personality, way of presentation, I picked it. I picked Pastor Chris, yes, I picked Pastor. You are so surprised. They always play, I don't know, this program around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. every Sunday. And my dad loved to watch that. So when the man is preaching, as he's preaching, I am getting what he's saying. And it got to me, I begin to represent my words that way. Now, that was one part of it. Now, when you look at all these youths, when they are doing their testing programs and all, everybody watch program, but I do not really listen to that program. I listen to the way he's bringing out all the things. And they were there in the system, and I kept it there now. Up to a point, when I now saw that, I was looking for a job, but job was not looking for me. The only thing pursuing me is speaking. People will call me, someone come and speak. I said, see, one day somebody said, come and talk to us about food. I said, food. What would I be saying about food? I just went to say, okay, food is what we eat. What else do you want me to say? But then I just felt that this is the only thing constant in my life. I said, let me just give it attention. I think that's how it came. And at some point I realized that I said, this thing is looking like Islamic settings. Islamic setting, yes, we did Walima to Quran, but then there is more to this. I told myself, I said, I will never be complete if I do not get Islamic knowledge to support this gift. And I told myself that I had it at the back of my mind, that someday I was going to go back. And thank God for the support. It wasn't that hard to tell him that. You know one thing I should just say? I like to take time. One thing I wanted to put there was that, do you know shortly I registered for madrasa, my father just called. Mariam, I want you to go to, I feel like you should go to America. He said, so we'll work on it. There's this brother of yours, work hand in hand with him. Let him put you through. I'm ready to. I told myself, shortly that I registered for madrasa, somebody's talking about America. Where was it 3 years ago? I even talked to my dad about POS. He did not say, he said POS. I said, I want to do POS. I said POS. He said, you are not serious. He said POS. I said, people are making money for POS. But that inner self that kept on guiding me. See, I'm not realized there. Now, this thing that kept on guiding me is, I think it was a big deal. So I learned to listen to myself. I learned to excuse myself from noise. And I begin to see the less 9 of action. I think that's my genesis for me. Thank you.
All right, Jazakumullah. So I think we've been able to move from the intention now to self-awareness, right? So we move from intention to taking the first action. Having an intention is not enough. Like us taking an action. So when we determine that, we want to go for this thing, let's just take action towards that thing, and then a self-awareness of who you are and what are the things that you need that will guide you on that path. So, but maybe when we get back to the second one, I was going to ask Sheikh that sometimes we often treat our faith as a comfort after we have failed. We cannot do without failure in anything we are doing. But most times what we have seen is that after failing, la máa ń gbà pé people ló ṣe kọ́ nìyẹn. So àwọn wa gentle ní time yẹn. So how can we, báwo la ṣe lè weaponize ìmánì wa àti spirituality wa, in those risky area, to be more confident ní tó bá di area failure. Tí òfin jẹ́ sí pé a kàn máa ascribe most of our failures sí abẹ́ kádàrá. So a lot of people fail, but when they fail themselves, we wọ́n hàn kádàrá tó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn. And when you critically look at it, only look dicey, but did you make enough effort láti má jẹ́ pé nǹkan yẹn kó tiẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ kó wá padà eventually rí bẹ́ẹ̀? But a máa ń tètè gbé sábẹ́ kádàrá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bọ́lá ṣe kọ́ nìyẹn. So bọ́ wa clarify àníyàn sir.
Alhamdulillah. I think we have guided towards the right direction there, which is what we always do every now and then in the national perspective. So, differentiating between when Iman should serve as a propelling factor or should be it should be good one, a compelling one after the event. So we often say that when things have happened, that's when we actually rely or go back to Iman. But in this essence, Islamically or according to how to the Islam taught us, Iman should actually precede the action. It should be a propelling factor. Ó jẹ́ kó gbé wa láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ tá a fẹ́ ṣe ni àti bá a ṣe ń ṣe lọ kó tó di bá di pé káyọ̀ làbọ̀lọ̀ ti bá a ṣe gbà yẹn. So when we tí ẹ bá dúró lórí pé tí kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ tán àwa weaponize ilé bá ṣe lò ní ìgbà tó ìgbà weaponize ẹ̀ àwa lò ní iṣẹ́ àbí àlò ìmọ̀ ní iṣẹ́ pé bàbá kájà ká ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nígbà míì we realize we haven't actually done enough. In fact, we stop superficially sometimes at the intention level. Ìgbà míì àníyàn làgbà bẹ̀rẹ̀ bàbá yìí yẹn ló ra ìṣó àti my sister here. The actions and the steps that follows those intentions remain superficial. That's one. Secondly, they don't align together with intention. Let me go deeper a little bit. When you reduce intention to just your most of your thought alone, and you don't have what personally I do for Mama allows tutorial a lot. The 3 P's I usually base my gauging my own action on. When it's aligned with your purpose, to get the utmost priority to one the presence of consciousness, presence of the presence of your heart, the full consciousness. When those three align together, that action will be effective. For make a time, ó máa ń sọnù láàárín ọ̀nà ajá ó ti ìgbìyànjú yẹn kó wà láì mọ́ pé ṣé a gbé sórí pé ó wà láì mọ́ pọ́pọ́ sí wa.
Is it allowed? Is it allowed? The moment I know it's allowed, and I also look at the impact is also going to do for me. I know that when I do this, this is the ROI. I know it can potentially do for me. It can take me from say 0.0, for example, to 0.1, for example. And when I think about it from that lens, you are going to drop. I typically just drop what people could say shamelessness, or not in a negative way, anyways. So you just drop that level of shyness or shamelessness and say, "I just do your thing," because at the end of the day, you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your life. You are going to answer for everything that you do. And when I look at it, because even down to even public speaking or even creating content, or because there's no way you do marketing, for example, you have to face camera at some point. You want to do video content. So at some point, I used to think, if I do this, there's this feeling of cringe that is called. I don't look at it. I mean, if I do this thing, it's going to get me my results. What I'm doing is not illegal. What I'm trying to involve myself in is not illegal, it's halal. Then I just, with that feeling in my mind, I just like to do it. And without even really regarding what anyone is going to say, because there's nothing you can say that can change that, because I know that I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, Sister Miriam, now my final question is, what is one thing that you can advise us on? One daily thing that if you mojito that one thing daily can assist us, getting to from where we are to where we want to be.
One daily thing, just one.
Yes, just one. or maybe let me have to say, especially around boundaries. Sometimes we don't want to. What I've seen most times is that we are not able to do what we're supposed to do because we open so much boundaries, right? So, okay, let me help you to do. And at the end of the day, you leave your home undone. So, what is one action? Maybe is it to close some boundaries? One action that if you stick to this, maybe as a policy or something, you get to move faster.
Okay. What I can say that there are a lot of things, of course, but what will get you there is consistency. Consistency is one key thing. I think that is the message Salat is trying to say. We pray Salat, Zuhr, Asri, the same time every day till you die. That is consistency. Allah is telling me that you have to be consistent. Now you see this consistent energy wants to make you a master of what you're doing. Now I'm going to give you a scenario. There's one voice note I do every night on my status. I do it whether I want to die or faint, I do it. In fact, if I want to die, I will tell you in that voice note that I am dying now. And then this is
That's the voice note.
as a voice note that I'm dying now, but as I am dying, I want to say this. That's what I do. And I discovered that. I discovered about 7 tones of communication that my voice is able to do. There was a time I had kata, it gave me another rhythm entirely. Very sweet. You know, when I do voice notes, it's not just only you. I also listen to myself. I listen to it, I enjoy it. Yes. And I feel calm, yes, this is it. And I noticed that when I have kata, when my voice is cracked, it's another tone. When I am active, it's another tone. When I am sad, it's another tone. When I'm tired, it's another tone. Now, after detecting all these tones, I now made it a kind of way that if I want to communicate, the structure, the consistency is telling me that anytime you want to talk, just like I'm talking now, I can impute, I can shuttle between those 7 tones. I will shuttle between those 7 tones, and you will not get tired of what I'm saying because I am taking you up and down. Now, that is one function of consistency. So consistency is key. I'm still working on it. There's some things that.
So I think so from where we started from now, if there's anything we are taking out of this is that we start from the intention and taking the first very action, stay consistent in what you are doing to become a master of that. So I don't know if there's any question from the audience. There are 1 or 2 questions just before we wrap up. So while we await questions, so I think this is one of the reasons that we started the Almostic Leadership Network. So last year, when we launched our book last year, right in this fall, so I'm a member of the leadership team, Mr. Aziz. So also about community narrators learning. And alhamdulillah, in December last year, we started and we started the onboarding session. And I think this is our first event for 2026. And we have several events for the year in terms of skills development and personal development areas. So, for example, coming later in January, we'll be having a session on AI and productivity. Later in February, we're having a session on Ramadan, normal tech skills session, then finance, budgeting, and all those things. So, if for any reason we need a community where you can mingle with people, you can develop, because we realize that we really need ourselves, because all this consistency, like you said, is very hard. So most times, ẹlòmíì tí kò kí n kírun yẹn, bóyá àwọn tó kọ́ ní ìdìbò ikú bọ̀ lórí èdè gbọ́dọ̀ pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ lọ kírun. So tó bá ti kọ̀ òun nìkan, ọmọ pé máa kí létà, so létà yẹn máa padà dùn lámọ́ lọ́wọ́. Bọ̀ tó bá rẹ̀ nìkan wọn pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ ọ̀ tó bá rẹ̀ nìkan tó fẹ́ lọ, tó máa ti jẹ́ ìpè àbàṣẹ ìdánwò náà wà gbà pé sẹ́yìn lọ kírun ni. Tí ó bá jẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ́n kí, àtòyìn náà wà ọ̀ tó bá padà yá pé ó máa mú rárá. So some people want to grow, they want to develop, but they just need that community, right? So and that is why we are providing the Almostic Leadership Network. So I'm using this because of time for us to look out for more events and engagements. Like I said, we already filled up our first quarter already with different, at least on a monthly basis, we have a webinar session. In the month of March, we are going to be reading a book. And we're going to have a book review session coming in the middle of the year. There's going to be a business conference for people who are running a small business. You know, we're going to have a kind of a boot camp, so that by the time we come to knock at your door, so Bola is listening now. By the time you help us to look, so help us to look for those doors, you know, and thank God. My chairman is here now, Alaji is here now. So by the time we come for that mentorship, that support, because we really have a lot, lined up for the year. And alhamdulillah, we started December planning for this event about a week or 2 weeks ago. I was talking with someone at the top level at Alternative Bank, but unfortunately, it was very late before we got into that. But as at now, I think we've already established a connection already. So we're hoping to get more support from the people. So at this point, Mr. Said, so we'd like to say Jazakallah Khairan for your time. Thank you for coming, and we really appreciate you. Jazakallah Khairan. Okay, question. Okay.
Okay, so okay, we have questions. God bless you, sir. I know you ask questions, but only the day is come. We go question. Thank you. Let's go.
Alhamdulillah, I still want to appreciate the panelists you said wonderfully. Alright, so to save our time, so I just want to ask, you mentioned purpose, priority, and presence of consciousness. So my question is, at what point, because in life, right, based on Qadar, we don't know what is there, right? At what point do we identify this is not my way? I run an icon tutorial center, and there are times I tell students, Madam, stop this thing. But at times I felt guilty that, oh, I'm not trying to push. For someone who has done something over and over and over and over and over 4 or 5 times, right in the same level, 6, 7, and you've done everything you think you've done to assist. But so should there be a point where you think this is not my calling? Should there be any point where you think this is not my purpose? Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a very brilliant question. Another question? Okay, should we have no one together before you answer, or should we? After that.
So I'll say that's a very big ass question. I mean, I'm even hoping to learn from my co-panelists on like their contribution. But from the way I see things, I feel like when you do things over and over and over and over again, imagine you're trying something, say 5 times, 6 times, and it's not really yielding the kind of results you're trying to yield. I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why we have free will to an extent to like explore that sense. So I mean, at this life, there's one mantra I try to live by is also like the concept of like failing forward. So like when you fail from something, you learn from it. You see what exactly have I learned from this? Is there anything I can improve? If you improve upon it and you're not really like getting like the correct result from it, I think it's time to move on. I mean, I work for me personally. I mean, I work in like the startup world. I work in the tech startup ecosystem, and in the short span of my career, I know the number of failed startups I've seen myself, and it doesn't stop to like the greatness. It becomes like that story because I work on so many startups. I work with a lot of founders where we're working on an idea, we're trying to build a product. 6 months down the line, we are not getting the right customers, or maybe the competition is too steep. Imagine trying to build, going into like the payment space right now, trying to build like a microfinance bank. The kind of competition we're going to meet with is going to really going to be tough. So when you have those data points, because I like to live by data, when you have all of those data points, I feel like it gets to a point where it's just time to like explore something else. So that's the right.
Okay, Mr. Bolaji, that's a very good one. From my side, getting to know when exactly you have to stop is understanding, like you said, getting your purpose, and that is the first thing. Then how do you know this is my purpose? Your purpose will always come like an opportunity, very cheap, no stress. Your purpose will come. We are magnetic in nature, like we are. You will always I don't know how to put it. Whatever is meant for you will always get magnetized easily. Easily, no stress, you don't need to defend it or what. But the assignment of getting close to Allah, that is the predominant reason why a lot of us are moving like this. That is where Iman wants to come in. And I'm going to use marriage as a married man fellow. I use that as an example, getting what istihara actually means. Istihara does not mean that you're already in that relationship. You're not telling God that, okay, this Abdullah is coming, you'll be making my wife or making my husband or not. No, that's not istihara. What you're telling istihara to do at that point in time is, if Abdullah is meant for you, let it face you. If Abdullah is not for you, let him turn against you. That's the message. Now, I would say that is the Arab azkar. It's not meant for marriage alone. It's meant for everything. It's like an azkar that you ought to take as lazim from the beginning of life. So that as you are going, something is pushing you towards your direction. So if you now say that this is not my way, you will see that you will always struggle. So when people come for career counseling, I don't look at an angle where you have everything you have to be, you have to learn it. No. It is best we look at an angle where you have some skills naturally innate in you. That will enhance you during the downfall. You are as a third person, you're already sitting down 6 hours. I am a sanguine, I cannot sit down. As if you notice, as this program is going on, it's not because it's not anything. I have seen a baby, I have played with a baby, I have moved up and down. It's not something I want to do. I'm not just a settled person. So giving me a laptop to do for 8 hours is like disrupting my lifestyle. So that alone, even if I earn millions, it's going to affect, I won't be happy. So it's about knowing, identifying that area which your personality theory, your personality test, if you come through counseling, will help you. That this is me. And it's not that you don't know yourself. Most times when you do personality tests for people, they just say, yes, that is me. They just want to confirm if that is them. And then when they confirm that is them, you are giving them one kind of peace of mind that they push ahead and down. So that is it, that gift, that things that come easily, you get attracted rather than things that you force yourself to do because that is what everybody is doing in life.
Alhamdulillah. My name is Nicholas. Both of you already spoken. This time I have actually got through it. But alhamdulillah, just to have, let me just summarize the whole thing. The question is very big and wide, which is what an inquiring mind should always think about. I mean, that's part of growth and development. So when I mentioned the 3 P's about intentionality, and if after trying all those, you try your best to be purposeful in life, like you said, you identify your purpose. Now, identifying your purpose, that's where I want to now chip in my own sense. It could be through self-awareness, like you said. Like, okay, after several trials, if one is very self-critical of him or herself, he has self-enough, so he knows how to prescribe. It's difficult to do. He will realize, you know what, I've tried it several times, let me explore. But there is one agent that we are missing in modern days, which has been there through prophetic times, is the agent of mentorship. Youth of today's are disconnecting the link between, but I'm not saying just for spiritually, no, religious. You should have somebody that will be a guide in each, whatever you're doing. It might be your teacher, it might be your mentor, whatever that will see through in different lines what you are doing. That you know what, like you said, the data you are putting in is different from your output, to speak their language. So the person will be of vast knowledge in that field, whatever field, and will be able to realize that it's time to stop. Mentorship is very critical in knowing when to continue on the stop. Spiritually, material world, you need a mentor in activity in life. The last one, which he mentioned also is about istihara. That istihara is not something we should leave. Even if you don't know the Arabic word, you can ask Allah for guidance. The only prayer Allah sanctioned for us to never leave, because He knows that we are created into a world of multitude of distractions. The nature of dunya is distractions. So Allah says that always ask every 5 times, multiple times. You have to. There is no shortcut to the right path. You need His help. So that is why that question is very relevant because you might have tried several things and you know what, if you maintain consistency and you observe the 3 P's sincerely and things are not working out, of course it's time to try something else. But at the same time, you need to get a mentor. Rasulullah was the grand mentor of the Sahaba. He advised them in different things. Or it should be your lecturer, your teacher, or whoever, like you said, you advise people as well. So the person will have the second eye or third eye to look at the things, and then you ask Allah for guidance all the time as we always advise everybody. Those 3 things should help to summarize everything, inshallah.
Thank you so much, our speakers. Do we still have a question? We have just application 1, 2. Okay. So please let's just read the paper because we need to close